Alright, just a few days left and it is crunch time, so let's get rockin'. Right, so the deck and actually secondary deck that I'm making, I decided to make for this are almost done. I'll show you how the work is going on those also here and again in a minute, but let's get our rock formed with this concrete. So here I've just got some cement, white cement. This is pretty fine, and actually talking to my buddy Win, he recommended black, but I wasn't able to get black, so this will just have to do. The reason why he recommended black was just that if some little part of something breaks off, then the inside that's now exposed, that's unpainted, is just black, so it looks more natural if you don't have time to fix something. At least it's already black, but I'll just take some paint with me when I go to set it up at Gbwc. If something breaks, I can just touch it up. And I've also got some tin foil here. This is going to be for making some more rocks to put on top of this. So I'm gonna mix this up, and I've also got in here some sand and stone, little stones there. I'm gonna be mixing it with that just to give it some more texture, because that cement is very thin, what was I, fine, yes. I'm gonna be like slathering this up, and then in here I'm going to be laying some of that in this tin foil to make some pieces that I'll then later break up and stick onto this. So that is the plan. Now what I want to do is form this kind of in a way that's gonna make kind of like long, sharp pieces. I'm gonna try to break it in that way anyway, but if they're kind of already in that shape, that'll be kind of easier. So like something like that, so it's like long grooves of pieces that will then break and be sharp that I can stick going like that. So let's just get to it, shall we? And I'm going to try to mix this well. My first experiment, I tried mixing this last week, and I think I had too much water or something. It wasn't really great, so I'm gonna try to make it a little bit better. So this is only my second time using this stuff actually. But let's just see here. So I think I've got the consistency down right there. I think it's pretty thick and heavy. Alright, so the base is well slathered up now, and it I don't know how it looks really at the moment, but I think this is going to be one of those things like our man Link talked about, where you start off really rough and then you finish clean, and I think that's how it's going to go. That's kind of the thing. That's one thing I've noticed. Quite a few comments along this work in progress series have been like, oh, I didn't think the idea was going to work, or I didn't think it was going to look good at all, like when you first start out, but it's actually coming together looking pretty good. And that's what I'm hoping is going to be the case with this as well, because right now, I don't know, I mean, it doesn't look like wood, so mission accomplished there. I don't know how good really it looks though, but I think once this has the pieces of rock attached onto there and then it's all painted up, I think it'll look totally convincing enough, I think, for what it needs to be. So with that, we'll just give this a day to dry. Hopefully that'll be enough time. Hopefully it'll be set by tomorrow evening, and let's go back up to the table. Okay, so here's what we got working with so far. I threw a little panel liner in there just so you guys could see this easier. But this is the main deck, as it were. And one thing that I've also decided is just that I'm not going to be damaging this. I said before that I want to just like build it up and then like damage it so that it looks damaged. I'm not going to do that basically just because I just don't think I'm going to have time. I'm very short on time now, and I don't think that would really necessarily take too long, but I'm just gonna have this as it is, and that's just gonna be the thing. So one thing I did too is add a border around that. So like added a thicker piece of plot plate around the edge there, just so we've got more than just 1 millimeter thickness, and then added a kind of sheets of plot plate there around the side to make a little border around the edge of that, and then just did some scribing there and a few different scribing thicknesses to make some lines around on there. Added a couple little details here. Added this little piece on top of the piping there. I'm sorry, my autofocus is just fucking me up here. Alright, and yeah, so this one I need to build up the underside of, but I did decide to make a second deck as well. This one would be higher up on the structure, and this one's completely done. So this one I just added just a few little things there on the bottom, this kind of machine kind of like bit there out the back as well. And so this one will be, yeah, just higher up on that, and just made a border on that edge of that one as well. These things, these canisters really suck to work with because the plastic, I don't know what it is about the plastic, but these were originally meant to hold putty, so I think that's why they're made in a certain way. But whatever the case, the plastic like doesn't stick to anything. Like super glue doesn't even stick to this stuff. So whatever it is, I don't know, it's like trying to glue this and they just don't glue. So what I had to do is actually make a thing here, drill through this, through the cap, and then just glue some plot plate onto both sides so that basically the plot plate is holding it together. The plastic is holding this on there. I don't know if that makes sense, but so that's the only way to actually then attach this onto anything. So then you can see I just got that attached up onto the bottom of there. Also got these couple of guys, this one which is almost, this one's closer to being done here, that I'll do a little bit more work on these, and these will just be kind of like sitting on the top as like containers, like storage containers. There we go. So like that, those will be on there, and then our guys will be standing around on here sort of like checking those out and everything. So that is what I've got going so far. I need to work on just finishing up some more of building up the bottom side of this. Alright, so shortly after I've finished that up, added some little railings on there, a little bit down there on that, and then on this guy as well, the same thing on the top. That'll be just like closest part to the actual like main part, like the rock of the base. And then up underneath as well, a whole bunch of stuff there. And so that will be something like that, having some stuff going down like that. So now I'm just taking the silver and gonna start priming it. I need to get this primed and painted as soon as possible, so let's get to it. Alright, the next day, and this is all solid now and very heavy. I think that could be a little bit of a problem, how heavy this is. I'm gonna be adding more weight by adding some more kind of rock bits on top of it, but I'm gonna use this, these are wave plow pipes, 6mm, and drill the holes in here, and then put these into there and cut them off at 45-degree angles, so then that the deck can sit on top of here like that. So let's do that. Now the problem is that the drill bits that I have are all like US size. This is 1/4 inch. Doesn't exactly match 6mm. This will be a little bit larger, but that's okay. Then we'll just fill that in with glue later on. So let's drill. Woo! That actually fits in there nice and snug, so I think that's gonna work. Now the problem is if they're going to be straight. Now, as you saw there, I didn't do that super scientifically, but let's cut this and figure it out. Okay, there we go. Sports are in place there, and so these are just resting on there at the moment. Once everything's all done and these are painted and that's painted and everything's all put together, I'll permanently fix these on there, but I'm happy with that. That was not as complicated as I thought, and it seems like it's gonna work out pretty well. It's gonna work anyway for the time being. So that's that. Now we can get on with attaching some more rocks onto this. Now, as I mentioned, I made some extra pieces in here, so basically just gonna break this up and then just break it into pieces and just kind of glue a few on here and there. Alright, fast forward quite a bit here, just because I've really been in crunch time mode and didn't really feel like recording some of the processes here, just because I've been concerned about finishing on time. I will be able to finish on time, that won't be a problem, but just wanted to work as quickly as possible. So anyway, just want to show you then what I've done. So I think this is pretty much done and just waiting for some top coat here on the base. I decided not to glue extra rocks on there because I started to do it and it just wasn't really looking all that good. So yeah, I just decided not to. And at the moment, I think this will look a lot better once it gets some flat top coat on it. But there's basically, we went through a whole process. First, I just used like some black and mahogany spray paint on there and just gave it a base coat of that. And then painted a bunch of just different colors on top of that. It's not really all that visible, so that's why I think that once the flat coat is on top of this, it'll kind of like dull the shine and you'll be able to see the little color variants and everything a lot more. I also noticed I've got kind of like a stripe going on the side here. Sorry if that's been out of focus the whole time, I just realized that was off. There you go. So there's like a lighter gray through the center there, and then there's this stripe of titanium silver that like runs through there. So I wanted to make it look sort of like for rock. A rock has layers like that. So that was kind of the thinking for that. And I still haven't decided if I'm going to add the little blue crystals in there. I might add just a few kind of along the way. And then the base, the deck is also done here as well. Well, it's almost done, I should say. As you can see right now, it's very glossy, very shiny, because it is just got the last gloss coat, and now I'm going to go in and just do a little bit of weathering on this now, just give it like some filtering on that. And that's kind of like the last step, and then here's what they end up looking like on the underside there. And these circles are where these tanks will attach, so there's one of those, if that will focus, but anyway, that will just attach onto here like that. So yeah, just threw a few decals on there, not too many. I like just that really big one there on like the main deck or whatever, and then the secondary, the higher deck also, there'll be a tank attached onto the bottom of here as well. So that is pretty much it. I'm gonna go and do some, like I said, just a little bit of filtering in this. I got just little like crate boxes here. Just threw a few decals on there, just kind of closed up the side, just repurposing a part which was originally, I think, a part from like a Zaku 2.0's shoulder armor or something, just to turn that into like a storage crate. So with that, I just need to do some filtering on that, and then top coat on all this stuff, and then we're off to Seoul.